Yo, what is good, YouTube? Krishan checking back in with another video. In the first update of the day, Hadi Choopan has arrived in the USA, and we're about 6 weeks out from this year's Olympia, so I'm pretty sure it's safe to say he's going to stay here for the rest of his prep. And that's exciting to hear. As you guys know, Hadi has visa issues almost every single year. Now, we're not 100% out of the clear. I'm not confirming that Hadi is here until the Olympia, but probably so, just to set that straight. Now, on the right, Hadi Choopan also posted this up today. Hopefully, it's a recent update. Hadi is looking incredible ahead of this year's Olympia. We really haven't seen too many updates, just a lot of training footage, but hopefully Hadi brings his best. Now, the next update of the day, this is a recent update from Antoine Vaillant. And Antoine is looking incredible right now. From how he's looking, I think it's possible we may get to see a rematch between him and Ian Valliere at this year's Olympia. Initially, just being honest, I had Antoine probably being in that third call-out. But from what I'm seeing right now, Antoine looks bigger. He looks crazy vascular and conditioned at 6 or 7 weeks out. And I'm excited to see him. Hopefully he brings his best package. He was good in Vancouver, a little bit better in Chicago, but I think the best is going to be at the Olympia. Now switching over to James Hollingshead, these are recent updates from him. And it's crazy how James is just benching this 4th place like it's nothing at all. James has an incredible back, a lot of detail. Hopefully he doesn't overdive for this year's Olympia. He's already in great condition. I think James still might be having those cheat meals in, that's neither here nor there. Seems like it's working for James. But I'm excited to see him at this year's Olympia. He was really confident going into last year's show, but overdieted a little bit. So hopefully he's able to crack that top 10 this year. And James was good at the Honor UK, better at the Tsunami, and I'm expecting the best at the Olympia, similar to Antoine. Now switching over to Rafael Brandão, these are the most recent updates from him. Now honestly, what I see right now, it seems like Rafa's midsection has grown a little bit with him adding so much size this offseason, but hopefully it comes in a little bit as he dies down more. It's going to be very, very hard for him to get into that top 10 just because overall size. He also seems to be a little bit behind on conditioning, but hopefully he comes in shape. Rafa has an incredible shape, but it's always going to be how is he going to look next to these bigger guys. I still think he needs a little bit more size. Now, the next update of the day, we have a recent update from Mr. Consistent Justin Rodriguez. Now, in my personal opinion, Justin is looking better than ever right now. The only complaint I really have is Justin is a little bit smaller than what I'm used to seeing. And when he's bigger, he brings a crazy wow factor. He isn't the prettiest physique, so he has to come in freaky. And take a look at the shoulders, guys. Looking like Justin has a lot of detail there for a guy that's said to shoot his shoulders full of oil. Now, the next update of the day, we have a small update from Marc Hector. Now, even though he's injured, he's actually on crutches getting around the gym. He's still in there working on the upper body pump. And it's sad that we won't get to see him at the Europa Pro battled out with Alfred Chiriac. Had a great possibility of qualifying for this year's Olympia. But once again, wishing him a speedy recovery and hopefully he comes back strong. Now switching over to Brett Wilkin, these are the latest updates of him ahead of the Romania Pro. Brett is looking pretty good right now, but similar to Justin, Brett is looking better than ever, a lot improved, a lot more detail. Just seems like he's a little bit down in size. And unfortunately, with Big Ramy being the current Mr. Olympia, being a little bit smaller and pretty isn't going to win you the title. I'm pretty sure Brett is going to have a great showing at Romania, but overall still needs more size. Now switching over to Classic Physique, we have a recent update from Ramon Dino himself. Now going into this year's Olympia, I have Ramon Dino as a lock for being within the top 3. To me personally, I think Terrence, Ramon, and Chris Bumstead, they're going to be the top 3 in Classic for a very long time, taking nothing away from anyone else. And honestly, I'm hoping that Ramon can push Terrence Ruffin this year. If I had to bet on it, I would still put Terrence ahead of him, but hopefully there's a good battle between those two. Now switching over to Urs Kalecinski, these are recent updates from him. Urs is looking big, but also seems to be in great condition. Now, I'm not an Urs hater by any means, but I think he's going to need more back and arm development to challenge those top guys. Now, Urs has put on a lot of size and made huge improvements this offseason, but still lacking in those 2 parts. It's just going to take a little bit of time to bring up. But once he does bring them up, serious threat. Now, switching over to Fabian Mayr, these are recent updates from him. I've really been hyping this guy up, really like his physique, and I would like to see him in that first call-out this year. As I mentioned, the only reason I think he places a little bit lower is just because having a wider midsection. But from this prep, it seems like the leaner Fabian gets, the more his waist comes in. So I think we're going to see the best version of him yet at this year's Olympia. Now switching over to Dancovea Anderson, these are the most recent updates of him ahead of the Texas State Pro. And I believe this is an Olympia qualifier. I'm not sure who else is doing that show, but Dancovea is my pick and he should be at this year's Olympia. The only glaring weakness I see in his physique is he needs a little bit more chest. But that happens a lot with guys that are arm dominant. The arms probably take over a little bit during the chest workouts. But Dancovea is also flat here, guys, so think about that. will look a lot better once he fills up. Now switching over to 212, we have a recent update from YunLong. And pay attention to how crazy he looks before he even hits this front leg spread. The shoulders, the roundness, the muscle bellies are just incredible. Now Ping hasn't been talked about much going into this year's Olympia just because he hasn't put out a lot of updates. Now for the 212 division, I do believe he's a taller guy. I actually have no idea how this guy makes the weight cap at all. He may end up in open eventually. But him being a taller guy, he could stand out and just look like Superman, or he could look out of place. But I'm excited to see him on stage. Now switching over to Dietrich Bo Lewis, a guy we haven't talked about at all, I believe, since the Chicago Pro. He actually won this show. Now Bo is actually 40 plus years old, great physique, great structure, and he's definitely going to be in the mix with guys like Kerry Bajo, you know, maybe Lucas Coelho. And honestly, he only needs a little bit more quad size to be truly competitive with these guys. But as you guys know, being older, it is hard to bring those legs up. But I do believe Bo said if they do a Masters Olympia, he would hop into this show. So, you know, we maybe could see Bo Lewis versus Kamal Elgarni in the Masters next year. I mean, who knows? And ending this video here with the archive of the day, you guys let me know in the comment section below which legendary bodybuilder is this. As always, I hope you guys did indeed enjoy this video. If you haven't done so already, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm Krishan from Go Fitness, and that's it. I'm out.